Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of We Are Legion Live. Tonight we are featuring Godzilla Attacks Tokyo, Kamikaze Blues Band.
There he is.
How's it going?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good.
Try to position myself here better.
Oh, that's all right. Why don't we go ahead and get started and let you tell a little bit about the band?
Absolutely. Well, the band is me, so not really a band. I'm probably like a million other people who, when the pandemic hit, I've been playing music my whole life. I've been a lead guitar player in 1,000 bands, playing, since I was, I think in fourth grade is when all my friends started taking guitar lessons so we could form a band like Kiss. That was pretty much what we were going for. And so I played, music my whole life, but I just wanted to, when this whole thing hit, I was like, I've written songs my whole life, but I've never sung. And I have all this great equipment because I'm a graphic designer, web designer, the best Mac you can buy, with everything in it. I was like, it has GarageBand on. I'm like, you know what? With this thing hitting and work kind of taking a slump while everyone freezes for a bit, perfect time to learn how to use GarageBand and maybe record some of these songs I've written over the years. I'm in a cover band that I've been in for years with great friends, really good guys. And that all stopped when it happened and everything too. So figured, what the heck, this was the time to do it. And I decided I was going to do the Godzilla Attacks Tokyo Kamikaze Blues Band because it's a crazy old story that goes almost all the way back to like fourth or fifth grade. And, I decided to do it as that because I thought I could hide behind it. No one needed to know who I was. So if I was terrible or if I put anything out, I didn't have to worry about it. So I just wrote down 10 titles for songs, kind of wrote those songs, and then just started playing with GarageBand or recording them. And that's kind of how the Godzilla thing happened. So it's about a year old this month. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta ask, how did you come up with Godzilla Attacks Tokyo Kamikaze Blues Band? Because it rolls nicely off the tongue.
Yeah, sure. It's so easy to remember.
Yeah.
So again, this goes way back to exactly what I was talking about. I think it was about fifth grade. So I've been playing guitar for about a year. My next door neighbor and my brother and I, the three of us, took guitar lessons because we were all going to be in a band, and my one other friend was taking drum lessons. So we were going to be getting our Kiss kind of lineup going. I was going to be, one of the guitar players, and my brother was going to be a bass player. And so we ended up taking guitar lessons from my friend's father was a professor up here at Lafayette College in Easton, Pennsylvania, where I'm from. And he had a girl in one of his classes named Zelda who played guitar, and she came over to the house and was teaching us. We'd sit around and she was teaching us chords, and we were learning Beatles songs and, learning how to play those. And she'd make us sit there in the circle and sing and play. My brother bailed out pretty quickly, and me and Eric, my other friend who's a professional musician, lives in San Francisco, fantastic, way more talented than me by far. We kept trying to have bands, and he went away to camp or something. I can't even remember what it was, but he came back and he was like, "Oh, I found a drummer for us. He's going to come over. We're going to bring his drum set. We're going to sleep over at our house, and we're going to play. We're going to play music all night, and it's going to be great." So the kid shows up with a pair of drumsticks. He didn't bring any drums. So it was like very strange as it was. And then we ended up not playing any music at all, but just talking about bands all night long. And kind of the next day, his mom came to pick him up. And like right before that, he was like, "Oh, I've got a perfect name for the band." We're like, "Well, what is it?" And he kind of blurted out something about Godzilla Attacks Tokyo Kamikaze, like something like the Godzilla Attacks Tokyo Kamikaze Blues Band. It's a long time ago. So, it was something kind of joke, and I kind of made it into that name, the Godzilla Attacks Tokyo Kamikaze Blues Band. And then ever since then, like we just laughed, and the kid got in the car and went away, and we never saw him again. But then every time for years, like I'd start a new band, and I'd always say, you're trying to figure out what should the name of the band be, and I would always say, the Godzilla Attacks Tokyo Kamikaze Blues Band. And everyone would just laugh like you're an idiot, and then move on and pick a name and go from there. And so I kept doing that actually with the band that I'm in now. And we were this close to calling ourselves that too, because we're a bunch of, 50-year-old dads, and we just figured, why not have a funny name? We ended up settling on Bye Bye Brains. So that's my Bye Bye Brains is my cover band that I'm in. And so when we went into this thing, I decided to use the name because I thought it was funny. So it's a super long story. It started way back, and again,
Well, it's an interesting story. I'm glad you shared it with us. There was a part in there where you said that Zelda was sitting around learning to play Beatles songs.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're actually Hank Williams Jr., who's actually a very good guitarist in his own right.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Said if you wanted to be a great guitarist, learn how to play every Beatles song.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
it was a great starting point,
Yeah, so. He said if you can play every Beatles song, you're going to be a great guitarist because. Absolutely. Yeah, so that was kind of interesting that you dropped that out there.
Yeah, this is because I'm 53, so it was in the 70s. It was before John Lennon was killed, because I remember when that happened. I was in 8th grade, and we all wore black armbands to school when he died and everything, and it was really big because other than we all got into Kiss at first, but then Zelda came in, and she had all these songs that she broke down for us as simple as she could. And that's what she wanted us to learn. And we became huge Beatles fans too. So it was Kiss was first, then it was the Beatles. And for some reason, the Who was one of my top ones back then too. So got into the Who. But then I went to, we used to have this thing around here called, it was a walk to raise money. And at the start of the walk, and every 5 miles, it was a 20-mile walk. They had bands at every 5 miles. And one of the starting bands, they were playing Cocaine. I had never heard this before, but I thought I was just fascinated with it. And then I went back and found out that it was an Eric Clapton song. So I kind of stumbled onto Clapton by hearing Cocaine first, and then I started more and more of his stuff. And, that kind of took me off into, starting to learn about the blues again, the way a lot of people do through the British invasion, all those guys over there doing blues, and started to enjoy it. So I don't really truly consider myself a blues guitarist. I mean, I was in hair metal bands in the 80s, and I went out to the Musicians Institute in California, and I graduated from there, from the Guitar Institute, in 1989, 88, 89, somewhere around there. And, so I was in all that hair metal stuff too, and trying to play as fast as I can, things like that. But I always loved the blues, and I always still love the Ace Frehley solos. Those the licks he played that were just souped up blues licks and things too. So as I've gotten older, I've just drifted back more and more to blues, and so I'd like to incorporate a lot of that feel into what I do now.
Do you take any inspiration from like a Stevie Ray Vaughan or
absolutely
Billy Gibbons?
Billy Gibbons, two of my favorites, of course.
Yeah, Billy Gibbons is one of my favorite guitarists of all time.
I love the early stuff from ZZ Top.
And
again, I was an '80s kid too, so they were all over the radio. So that was the stuff I heard first, and went back to the other stuff later. You've also done some collabs with some people that we've had on the show. Orange G, you did a collab with Orange G. Yep, you're sporting the merch right there. Not Orange G will ever check in and see it, but I'm wearing the Orange G shirt instead of wearing a Godzilla shirt. Yeah,
right.
We're both from Pennsylvania, but I'm from the other side. I'm near Philadelphia, and Orange G's in Pittsburgh. Again, we stumbled upon each other, I think, early on, and I heard some of his really rootsy kind of Americana stuff that he does, and the harmonica was like, I could use some harmonica on one of my songs.
Absolutely.
I asked him to hop on, and it just fit perfectly. And so I think this was the one we just released, which is I Don't Know, just came out last week. Featuring, I don't even play, I'm so tired of hearing myself play lead guitar. I decided to do a song where I was just going to make the lead instrument was going to be the harmonica. And that new song is really featuring Orange G, and I just love it. I think what he did on it is fantastic. So,
have you guys released that one yet? Or?
Yeah. It just released last week or early this week. It hit maybe on Monday. It hit Spotify, I think. So it just came out, and I released it on Bandcamp last Friday.
Nice.
So you'll have to give that a listen. But I think that's some of. Again, I'm biased because maybe it's my song, but he plays the harmonica so great, and it just fits in so perfectly.
No, yeah, he's been on the show, and he played for us. He's just an amazingly talented guy.
Yeah, he's a real talented guy. So
I will actually, let's see. You said it's on Spotify?
It is on Spotify. It's my newest one. It's called I Don't Know. So.
Well, guess who just upgraded? So to where I don't have, I can pick any song I want.
There we go. I still I have Amazon Music, so
I do as well.
Yeah. I'm willing to do one streaming service, no more than that. So,
well, I have to have the Amazon for because my 6-year-old just loves some of the shows that are on the Prime Video. So,
yeah. Good.
And plus, I get my money back in the shipping within 2 months.
We have the Prime, but I actually went with the Amazon Music.
You pay for the service? Yeah, I don't pay for Amazon Music. I just do the free one. I used to do the pay for the Amazon, but more of the bands that I work with are on Spotify. So
yeah, that's why you really have to kind of be in it, you know.
And yeah, what was the new one? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's give it a listen here.
Yeah. Sure. Cool. Awesome.
It's gonna play. There we go.
I love that.
Sit round the house wondering what to do. I got so many problems, it is almost too I'm trying to get it done, but I ain't got no time. I've seen too many issues and they're all mine.
Come on, the soul's coming. Yeah, he's pretty well on that thing.
The sun is coming up and I got places to be. What's gonna save me is all up to me.
That's some wicked harmonica right there.
Yeah, he did an excellent job on that. And,
yeah, he's great. And so I recorded that, and I played piano on it. You could hear a little bit of piano banging. I'm not a piano player, but I've got a little USB controller, and I can bang out some chords. My wife's an amazing piano player, but she kind of has hung up her her piano playing just that isn't interested in doing it anymore. So I banged it out myself, but figured it'd be a perfect time to do instead of another guitar solo, which, got 35 songs on there, and there's a guitar solo all the time. It was nice to do something a little bit different,
Oh yeah, and I mean, when you're talking about blues, I mean, how do you have really the blues without some good harmonica playing in there with it? I mean, I kind of got into the blues at a little bit younger age because I'm a big fan of history and stuff like that. But being from Kansas City, we have a pretty rich history of blues playing from the 18th and Vine area because it used to be part of the circuit. They go from Memphis to St. Louis to Kansas City and back to Tulsa and back to Memphis. And so we have a pretty good blues history here in Kansas City. And
I guess you'd get a lot of mix there from blues to country to.
Oh yeah,
because where you're located, you get a really good mix of stuff.
A really good mix of everything, and that's really how I kind of developed my musical taste because I listened to everything, and I've learned to appreciate all of it because we're kind of like a melting pot right here where everybody came together and. They just perform, and it's good. It's refreshing because you don't hear a lot of blues acts anymore.
Yeah,
it's kind of faded as time goes on, but it's actually really refreshing to hear some stuff like that. And
well, I really just like the feel of it and stuff. And like I said, I'm not going to. There's so many amazing blues players out there.
Mm-hmm.
I am a rock guy who loves the blues, so I like to, I definitely like it. So some of it comes out in there, but I probably still, on songs that even try to be really bluesy, still come out a little bit more rocky. Like the other, Garnet and I did Just a Lonely Man was the first one we did together, and that's just a straight blues riff ripped off right out of, the blues, world, and made it a lot heavier, and he wails on harmonica all through that too. But I just love it. So it's one of those things I like to dabble around in. So I did one song with Orange G that I really liked because I actually specifically wrote it to work with him. So it's the only one that I actually did that with was because I wanted to have a banjo on my song. So he ended my song, Oh Yeah. He's playing banjo on it. He plays a harmonica lead on it, and he also sang backups. So it was great when I sent it to him.
Very nice.
And he came up with the backup, and it just, to me, it like made the whole thing. Like it was this extra little touch that just really worked for me, so it's really great working with people like that. So total trip, and I've worked with a lot of people. So if you've listened to any of my stuff, Godzilla Boogie came out not too long ago, and that was the biggest collab I've ever worked on. And that was with Jenny Stevens, who's from Wales. Jenny and I met early last year on BandLab. When I first started to record this music, I had been in the studio a few times with my other bands, but I would go in, plug my guitar and play my leads or whatever, and then leave, and somebody else would mix it, master it, everything, and just, I'd get to hear it at the end. So I never really paid much attention to what was happening. But when I started recording my music, I kept seeing that people say, oh, you have to master it. You can't just record it in GarageBand and put it out. You have to master it. I'm like, master it. So I started looking for mastering and found that BandLab had this thing where you can upload a song and master it. It's nothing great, but it gives you 3 different choices. You can have clarity, bass boost, or CD quality, and you can choose them, and you can really hear how it enhances the mix. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh, this is perfect. I'll just upload this stuff here, and then I'll have mastered stuff. But then realize it's kind of like a social site. It's almost like Facebook for musicians. So, that you can put them up there, but then there's this button there that is, that you can publish it, and then people can comment on it and everything. I had songs up there for about 2 months before I ever hit that button. I was so nervous about, letting people hear it. And then finally, before I went to bed, I just pressed the button and went to bed. But I just assumed people would be like, "Oh my God, dude, you should never sing. Stop singing, please."
That's me.
please stop singing. Because I just had never really done it, and it was more my voice than anything that I, was more nervous about. I played guitar my whole life. I'm a decent guitar player, but the voice I was really nervous about. But then everyone was so nice that it was, I just started getting good comments, and it was cool. And then signed up for Twitter, I think last July, and you're one of the first ones I followed because I saw this thing. You had something like, post your link. I'm like, oh, that's cool, And so I threw one on, and you retweeted it, and then I kept seeing you, and I followed you, and you were one of the early ones that I saw who was sharing music for everyone. I was like, this is cool. Someone who's on Twitter is actually trying to help everyone get heard. So that was a really interesting thing for me.
And we've built quite a community through that, just doing those simple things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we just recently went over 20,000.
Yeah, I've seen you hitting that 20,000 mark.
Yeah, we hit the 20,000 mark yesterday, I believe.
Yeah.
And so and it just keeps growing and growing. And
fantastic. Yeah.
And I'm really happy for you guys, because the more people that are following me, they're hearing your guys' music, and that was the whole idea behind it. And it's brought together bands and artists from all over the world, all different genres, and some of the collabs and stuff that we've got out of this, and lasting relationships that we build out of it. It really, in just since November of 19 to now, it's just grown beyond my dreams.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And I still get a kick out of it. I get like 4 or 5 DMs a day, man. How much did you charge to promote? And I'm like, I never charged anybody a dime. Just drop the link in there, man. I even have some collab playlists where you can add your own song to it and stuff.
Yeah. So great. I'm in your little group, the DM group too, where people can post their things and share and stuff too.
Yeah,
and nice. I don't take advantage of nearly enough of the stuff. I'm really busy I've got a daughter, I've got a wife, I've got a business. I'm a partner in a design studio. So last year it did take a dip. So I was able to record a lot, and I probably focused on it a little bit too much. But like, I barely send anything out to anyone, like radio stations and things like that. Luckily, there's some really great people out there, like Radio 382, I think radio. That's the one. Like Sean is on. He plays my stuff, and now Matt from Storm of Crows. And I have to tell him that I said his name because he loves getting shout outs. But love that guy. He's really funny, and he's got a radio show now, and he just has a real fun time with it. And then Jenny interviewed me Jenny. Ukulele Girl, Jenny Stevens. So again, I started that thing with Godzilla Boogie. I met Jen on BandLab after I started putting things out, and we ended up working on a song. And I asked her to sing a song, and we've done 6 or 7 songs, and she's done some backups. And I just absolutely love her music and her voice. So she's in Wales, and then Reckless Velvet. You probably have run into him through some of the stuff too. He's an Australian guitar player and very talented guy. So I got him to play lead guitar on Godzilla Boogie, and then Pete from Marveline, who's also fantastic. That guy is uber talented, like everything with his videos, from his production value and everything. So he played bass on it and sang backups on Godzilla Boogie, and he's just fantastic. And then we got Piano Ali. So Ali is out there in California. So 2 Australians, Wales, and then Pablo La Rosa plays sax, and he's in Buenos Aires, I believe. So, that was kind of a real world, collab. And that's just amazing to me that I can sit here in my little office studio and make music and then work with people all over the world and put it out, and people can hear it. Like, it just blows my mind.
It just blows my mind that, that we created that community to where that is now possible.
That's possible. It's all possible because of this.
I mean, you're all individually great artists, but you would have never got to play with each other before, and now you're just bringing great artists from all over the world doing collabs and stuff with one another, making some really outstanding music, and I have a lot of fun just putting it out there for everybody.
Well, and again, everyone appreciates it too. I watched a number of these, and everyone mentions the same thing. I mean, because we need people like you to help us, and it's very hard to gain an audience. I mean, I'm over 7,000 followers now on Twitter, which I never thought would happen because I just joined last July, and I have over 7,000 followers. I'm sure a lot of them see the Godzilla Text Tokyo Kamikaze Blues Band and think, "What the hell is that?" And they follow me just out of curiosity. But whatever, But it's just surprising the friendships that can be made digitally that you would never think you could.
Yeah.
I would have never thought that prior to the COVID thing, but when we're all kind of stuck at home.
And for independent artists, it was actually kind of a blessing that the pandemic hit. Not that for the pandemic itself, but what it forced everybody online.
Yep.
And that's the way people are consuming their music and stuff so now a lot more are being heard that probably would have never been heard before just because of the pandemic. Not that the pandemic is good by anything, but you got to try to take some kind of bright spot out of it. That would be it.
Yeah, we definitely found a silver lining in it, and I'm sure again that's the way a lot of us look at it. I would have probably just continued with my cover band and never even tried it because I was busy going over there one or two nights a week, learning new songs and things like that. So I probably wouldn't have taken the time to ever really dig in and start doing it. I mean, yes, I've always written songs. It's just what I do. I walk around singing songs about my dog. I'm kind of a dork that way. I'm just constantly singing and making up dopey songs. And so I've done this for years, and I have these books with lyrics in them and things like that, and just finally actually made it into something because of that. I don't know what it was, if it was more the fact that things slowed down at first, or if it was just kind of like this weird fear that this was going to be a horrible thing. My wife always says it, that I watch too many zombie movies and stuff, all the Walking Dead and all those things. So, and her brother is the same way. He's the one who got me into the Walking Dead. But as soon as I heard this thing was happening in China, when it was first reported to her, I was like, this is it. This is going to be this is the zombies. And, and she's like, oh my God, you and the zombies. But then it actually started happening and things were closing down and it was spreading very fast. And I think I did freak out a little bit with it, thinking, this could be major,
I was in Poland with my day job.
Oh, wow.
And we literally flew out. We had to fly into Germany and out of Frankfurt back to Houston. We literally flew out of Germany the day before they shut down Germany and 2 days before they shut down Poland.
You're lucky about that.
Yeah, we were worried. We were over there sweating bullets. We'd already been over there for a month, and we were like, "Oh man, I mean, it'd be a nice little vacation. The company's going to pay, the government's going to pay for it, but still, I want to get back home and see my family. I got two little kids I hadn't seen in a month, a 6-year-old, a 3-year-old that I hadn't seen in a month. So I was like, man, I got to get back home. And luckily, we flew out just in time.
Oh, that's good. Wow,
before.
That's a crazy story. Yeah. So it's been weird, and my band now is talking about starting to get back together. We're still a little hot here where I am with spread.
Mm-hmm.
We have a couple of universities here, and of course the university kids still want to party, and we have these Lehigh universities right here in Bethlehem, and they're always they're having COVID parties and doing stupid things, so it's hopefully now with the vaccines and stuff we can start to come into spring and have something to look forward to again a little bit. A little bit more.
I was hoping when they first started to talk about the vaccines coming out that we would hit like early summer where we could start opening back up. But it looks like it's going to be more towards the fall before things because of the way the rollouts have gone. But have you thought about maybe like hooking up with Orange G and doing some gigs with you two together?
We've definitely talked about it. He has, I think one of his sons goes to school in Philadelphia, so he does get here. And so as things open up, I'm sure we'll see each other. And also, I've met some other people that are kind of close by. So, I've got Daddy Bits, who is a great guy, very talented musician. I met him early on in this, and he's in Philly. So it'd be fun to get Orange G together and him or whatever and get some acoustic guitars and play, maybe record something. It'd be fun. I'd like to find a bass player and drummer somewhere locally just to play some of this music that I've recorded too. I mean, I don't ever plan on it being anything big. It's just, it'd be great if something hit, but let's be honest, it's the kind of thing that, I don't make the kind of music that people are listening to. It's never going to be popular. I'm over the hill when it comes to music, but it doesn't mean I can't make music or play it and, and still enjoy it. So.
Well, lucky for you, there's still people out there like me who lives for hair bands, and I love the blues too. So
I'm with you too. I'll still have days where I play nothing but Ozzy Osbourne, and I'll put on Rat or the early Motley Crue, Too Fast for Love album and stuff like that. So I love all that stuff. I mean, I grew up in it, so it just depends on my mood that day. But then I'll go to singer-songwriter stuff, whatever. So I like that. I'm even toying with the idea. I have some ukuleles here, and I play those. And I did one song last year. I was at the beach with my family, and I came back and I wrote a song on the ukulele and recorded it with GarageBand on my iPhone, and added some drums and stuff. And I put it on BandLab. I haven't released it on here, but I'm thinking it might be kind of fun to do like an EP of just ukulele songs or something. That would be totally different.
that would be pretty sweet, actually.
Yeah, exactly. So I might mess with that, this year a little bit more. So yeah, I'm all over it. I mean, and some of my music gets almost a little country-ish. So I have a few songs that lean that way, more Americana, country. They kind of touch on that a little bit from afar. I'm open to just about anything. I just enjoy playing. So, getting a visitor, one of the little kids.
My son's getting home from his meeting, so yeah, his mom was dropping him off.
Gotcha.
All that stuff. I mean, even maybe you can even find a steel drum player and do some ukulele with some steel drums.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
I used to, whenever I was in the Navy, I was stationed in Jacksonville, and we had this bar called the Atlantic, who every Wednesday night would have like a Caribbean night where they'd have the steel drum player out there, and they never, you don't get much ukulele playing over on the East Coast, and I think it would be a very interesting combination because I love the steel drums and
finding someone playing that in Northeast Pennsylvania here. I don't know about that, but it would be kind of fun to find. It's definitely a unique talent, to be able to play that.
Yeah, and I don't know. We found a steel drum player here in Kansas City, so if we can find one here in Kansas City,
you never know.
You never know. Yeah.
Yep. And I like reggae too. I mean, I love.
Yeah, I love reggae.
Stuff and things like that. Peter Tosh and stuff from down there. So I'm very open to music, just about anything. I just love hearing different things and playing different things. So, and
that's why music's so exciting to me right now, is because we have so many cross genre stuff. Because when you and I were growing up, bands you were rock band, you were a country band. Yeah. There wasn't really much no crossover at all. But now it's all kind of intermingling together, and it's making some really, really outstanding music. I mean. On the country chart last year, they had a country crossover with hip hop. Yeah. that was the number one for almost the entire year.
Yeah, so anything can happen. People mix, and I think that's been a really good thing for music.
It is.
So and I think I'm not very into electronic type stuff. Like I've not that kind of thing, and it's not that I don't hear some stuff and like it from time to time, but it's just. It's not something I pursue or whatever, but I would be interested in trying a little bit more with some of that as I dabble in things. So,
have you listened to any of Charlie Young's stuff? She goes by Miss Charlie Young. She does a lot of that Sith and stuff like that, and has a little bit of that feel to it. Listen to some of that. We've had some other people do some collabs with her, and
I'll have to check her out.
The reason why I mentioned her is because she does do a lot of collabs and stuff, so she's really open to that. So
yeah, I mean that's the thing. I just wish I had more time to even dabble in things even more. But it's from what I've been able to do in the last year, it still astounds me the amount of music that I've put out. So I can't really complain.
And the added bonus, whenever there's not a pandemic going on, she's located in New York City, so not too far from. Yeah,
no, from where I'm actually in Easton, Pennsylvania, which is right on the border of New Jersey, and basically I'm Route 78 right there. Get on there.
New Jersey's just southern New York City.
Yeah, it's a straight shot. I mean, if there's if I left now to go to New York, I could be in Manhattan in an hour. Just straight drive right through the tunnel and right in. So very close, and an hour to Philly, an hour to New York. I'm right in between, so it's a good place to be.
Yeah.
Easton itself is not a big town. I'm close to Allentown. Most people know of Allentown just from the Billy Joel song. But if you've heard of Easton, it's because you liked boxing back in the 80s and 90s, because Larry Holmes was the world heavyweight champion for many, many years, and he was from Easton, still lives here in Easton. So,
Nice.
that's about most people don't know much about Easton, but they might have heard that, or it's also the second place that the Declaration of Independence was read on July 5th. Because it was a
nice.
stop all the way to New York, so they read Philly, came here, read it in the town square, and then they went into New York. So it's a place that's got a lot of history in it. So nice place to live, though. Good place.
Okay, well, why don't we take a minute here, and why don't you tell everybody where they can find you on all your social media, and where you can find your merch at?
Yeah. Okay, so my merch, I have a website, and it's GodzillaAttacksTokyo.com. So GodzillaAttacksTokyo.com. Probably the easiest thing to do. And of course, my website has links to everything. It even has I have a BandLab thing there that you can just go through and play the music right there. But my music is everywhere, so these days, again, the beauty of, signing up for DistroKid for $20 a year and having it be on every single streaming platform, if you just type in Godzilla Attacks Tokyo in any of them, I come up. There are a few other Godzilla bands out there, or you get the Godzilla soundtrack albums, but if you Godzilla Attacks Tokyo, that's enough to get you to find me. Same thing on Twitter. I do have a Facebook page that I barely touch. I don't do a lot with Instagram because I'm just not a look at me photo guy all the time. I'm just not sure what to post on there. Like Twitter, you can just have conversations, So
yeah, I'm the same way. And
but you've got 3,000 followers on there, watching when you wore the bikini, the hula thing, So wasn't that for hitting 3,000 on Instagram? So,
yeah, I'm like 3,200 or something like that. But I'm not a really a big taking selfie type of guy. I mean, I post a few on there. Most of the time, it's just me posting other people's stuff. I have an app that it lets me copy the link and then repost it, and it gives them credit for it. So,
that's cool. That's cool.
And so basically, that's what I do. It's just another way to promote music. I mean, Twitter really is my main.
Yeah, Twitter got me going, and that's where I found you and so many other people. So. Every song that I do, the first place I release it is on BandLab, though. That's just because I still use that mastering. I am not a master of any of this stuff. When I did the Godzilla Boogie, I kept sending Pete from Marveling the links. That guy's got a great ear. He did backups, and he's like, oh, that's like a millisecond off. Just nudge that here, and like he told me how to turn this up, how to do this, so I could hear it better. So I got better at mixing just from doing one song with him. So some of these guys, and Mark at Fed by Sound, you can just tell he's his music, first of all, is amazing. I don't know if you've listened to any stuff by Fed by Sound, but he's amazing. If I had the talent that he has, that's kind of a lot of the stuff that I like. I mean, he's somewhere, progressive metal or whatever. I'm not sure what he exactly calls it, but I can hear almost like some Alice in Chains in there. Alice in Chains with almost mixed with Rush or something, and his songs are just they're complex and detailed, where mine are sloppy and loose. I mean, I'm more of a guitar player. I'm not trying to I almost want my stuff to sound more analog. I almost want to hear some squeaks of the guitar. I want it to sound a little bit more. Hear a little plunks and a couple of mistakes and stuff almost. I try to get my stuff to sound as live as I can, if that makes sense. Kind of fool you that I put the end, so that's kind of what I'm going for. And instead of, but I know that I can hear it in the way that Mark does everything, the precision and everything, and it's just so good. So, there's just so many different ways of approaching this stuff, and but I love that kind of stuff too. So, he's really amazing. But guys like him, guys like Pete, who just have this really good knack for it and know the tools, and they're not using GarageBand. They're using, real software and things like that and trying to do it. Not that GarageBand is bad too. I see people say things like, oh, that's not a real thing. I don't know. I can do 24 tracks of mixing and, things on it. And I'm sure that people, 30 years ago would have loved to have GarageBand and be able to do the stuff that it does. For what I do, oftentimes I'll have a song that only has 6 or 7 tracks on it. So I don't just fill it to fill it. I'm trying to go for a bluesy sound. I'm trying to get 2 guitars, a bass, maybe a tambourine along with the drum beat. I'm really trying not to go crazy. The Godzilla Boogie had more tracks than any that I've ever done because I worked with all these people. I had a saxophone on it, a piano on it, all coming from different places. And then Jen sent me like 8 tracks just for her stuff, but she had hoots and hollers in it, and she did all kinds of backups, and she's great with harmonies and things like that. So some people are just really good at filling stuff out, but I still think that still feels almost like a live track to me. So with all that stuff happening, it didn't lose that punch or anything for me,
Nice. And yeah, I mean, the closer you can get it to sounding like a live recording, or a live show, I mean, I think it's better. I mean, nothing's more disappointing than hearing a great song on that they've recorded, and then you go see them live, and it just
it's a mess.
It's a mess and completely blows. Yeah. I'd rather just give it to me straight, man, and let me see. I mean, I don't want something that your producer worked the hell out of.
Well, that's a lot of what pop music is, and I get, but my wife always says too, sometimes seeing someone live ruins it for her too, because they do it so bad, and then some people will go and see live and it's way better. Like when I went and saw Clapton live, like to me, that was better than him on any album, because even like a lot of his stuff, even more lately, is much more mellow and things like that. To go and see him wail and hear the whole band play together, and he has the best, Eric Clapton can tour with the absolute best people possible, and the piano player is amazing, the rhythm guitar player is amazing, the drummers are amazing, everything about it, was just, fantastic. So I want to go see live music, and I want to really feel it. I want to thump. I want to feel it in my gut, and so that is what I try to do. I made one fake live track that is up on there if you ever want to dig in and hear that. I put the whole audience and stuff in. I just wanted to, initially when I first came up with the Godzilla Attacks Tokyo Kamikaze thing, I actually thought about doing the whole thing and never revealing who it was. If you do have a chance and you go to my website, go to the Meet the Band page. Like, I have fake people from my band, So, and there's a whole backstory and everything. So, I do have one you can click on and read the whole thing. But I was honestly going to do that, where it was always going to be like, you thought that these guys were the band, and I was going to only make the recordings live recordings. So I was going to always have an audience and things like that. But I was like,
this is Spinal Tap moment.
Well, if you go to my site and you Meet the Band page, and then you read about the bass player, that's my Spinal Tap thing. So
yeah.
My total nod to the bass player, the fact that, we can't keep a bass player. And so we roll into town and usually find someone in the audience to come up and play bass. That's the whole idea. So
nice.
The whole thing's a joke, so, and I wanted to keep it light and fun, and everything. So, but I found that it was just going to be too much work to try to actually fake the whole thing. I was thinking, well, I could do videos and hire people to be the band. I'm like, okay, this is getting ridiculous,
Yeah.
And I finally just just me. I'm a one-man band and just having fun making music. So, it's definitely a cool experience, no doubt about that. So
yeah, right on. We got time. You got another song that you want them to hear from you?
Let's see here. So you've got. I shut everything down before I did this, but let's see what I have here that we could. Why don't we play Godzilla Boogie? Because I've talked so much about all those people who are
Godzilla. Okay.
Godzilla Boogie. It's because that was released this year too. Like, if you wanted to, so you heard that blues song. So I do have some heavy songs on there too. Like, I released a song in January called "Shard of Glass." "Shard of Glass" is very heavy. So maybe you want to play that. I mean, I don't know how much time you want to take, but that's very different for me, but that's a little bit more for my heavier sound. So that would be interesting, and Godzilla Boogie is kind of fun too. So I'll let you.
All right. Well, what do you guys want to hear? You want to hear the heavier stuff, or you want to hear Godzilla Boogie?
Is there anyone actually on here?
Yeah. There's some people in the chat. You can't see the chat really on your side unless you have enough.
I didn't realize it was on private chat, but now I see like some people who have popped in there. So.
Yeah.
There's Sean Sidetrack, so he's great too. He works a lot with Reckless Velvet, has some amazing stuff out there too. And Trissette, I believe she might be in. I think her thing says Los Angeles, but I think she might be an Aussie. She might be from down under, right?
She is from down under, but she lives in Los Angeles now. She's actually in Australia right now visiting family. She's
Great
kind of on
singer.
a holiday. Yeah.
I could go on and on about all the people I've heard and all the people who have helped. I love the Wretched Pinhead Puppets, and I love Three Mind Light or whatever his name
Three
is.
Mind Blight, yeah.
I mean, talk about a talented guy. I mean, so we've got a guy who's doing rap, like rap metal stuff, and then he's working with Sophie Dorston, and that kid is 18 and like blows me away.
She's amazing. She's been on the show too. She's actually going to be back on the show on the 29th. She just she's getting ready to release some new music with her brothers that she did.
Her brother and stuff like that. The whole thing is just so cool that she's young, talented, and doing stuff with her brother. She's been recording stuff. She's like 13 or whatever. I mean, I love this stuff. I mean, I just want one of these people who we've gotten to know over this past year to break through. And like Sophia is one. Like, talk about commercial viability. I mean, her songs are great, but such good voice and such talent. Like, I could see, her breaking through. I could see so many people through that make the right kind of music that maybe, maybe that I don't make. But so if you want to play Shard of Glass, why don't you do that just to show a different side of me? That's
okay.
Heavier. And I created 2 albums when I first started. I made Godzilla's Got a Rock and Godzilla's Got the Blues. Those are my 2 full-length 11-song albums. And even though a lot of them are still bluesy on the rock side, I do have a few heavier ones. But Shard of Glass is definitely heavy.
All right, well, here we go. Here is Shard of Glass.
Thanks, John. little bit heavier than the last one.
Yes, very, and I can definitely feel the '80s inspired hair bands and the guitar playing on that.
So I let my hands go a little bit on the guitar there on that one, wailed a bit.
Yeah, and that was outstanding. I really liked it. It's so great to actually chat with someone who has a great appreciation for the different kinds of music and the different types of artists and stuff out there, and willing to collab with them.
Absolutely.
It's really, really good, and I'm glad you came on the show.
Oh, I appreciate being on. I really am. Like I said,
you're more than welcome back anytime. By the way, just let me know whenever you want to come on. You got a new track or something coming out, or you got a new collab or something. I can get multiple people on here, so if you and Orange G have
that would be fun too, to get a few people on and have a little discussion.
Or we could get a group discussion going on. Even if you just want to talk future stuff, like I can get Mike from Three Mind Blight. He's normally, we'll have to find a day where he can join us, and we could just like have a little group powwow.
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the cool things about this is then actually getting to see and hear from people. So, I had worked on 5 or 6 songs with Jenny Stevens, and never spoken a word to her. We'd send little messages back and forth through BandLab, try this, here's the track or whatever. And then she interviewed me for her show. And it was the first time that we actually physically heard each other's voices, speaking. And that's just, it's such a trip, and it was a lot of fun to do that. And so these type of forums that you can do, because you can just pop on and have this live chat, it's amazing that, and with YouTube, then you can plop it on there. Like I said, I think I said to you and some of the texting back and forth, I rarely get to the live stuff because I finish my work day, I go down, I make dinner, I'm with my family. By the time everything's done, I'm exhausted. I've been considering hopping on this open mic that, Orange G is huge with every Tuesday. But I've just never, it's just so hard to work in with everything, Also, I'm a little bit still nervous to do that because I like to hide myself behind, take 100 different takes and, record it all and then put it out. And like just me playing guitar, I think people would be bored with that or something. I don't know.
You want to break yourself of that, go all out. Get yourself the hula outfit and just go straight on.
Yeah,
you just make a complete ass out of yourself the very first time, and then everything else after that is gravy.
Yeah, I'm not really. I don't have a problem with making an ass out of myself. I've been a professional at that for my whole life. But I'm so new to singing and everything, and like I can be recording and like it's such a bad note or whatever. Go okay, erase and try it again. So like I feel like even trying to get that live sound, I'm still not trying to sound terrible. So I will erase bad things or not release a song where I just can't sing it. I'm working on a song right now that I really like. I'm sitting here playing my electric guitar and singing it and putting it together. And then when I record it, I can't find the spot. And like, that's really frustrating. And again, I know I'm not some master vocalist. I have a very limited range and I can do what I can do. But, it's weird how like I can feel like I'm playing okay with my electric guitar, just sitting here singing along. But then when I'm recording, I can't find that spot. And so I don't want to find out that I can't find that spot one night when I'm trying to do me and an acoustic, I guess. I don't know. It's one of those things that I'll have to warm up to if I keep doing this, but which I plan on doing. And I will never release as much music as I released in 2020, but I will hopefully continue to, my goal is kind of to try to at least record 1 song a month going through. And I'm, ahead of that right now. So I'm doing pretty good, but we'll see. I might try to work in one night where I pull out and do 2 songs on one of those open mics. Give it a shot.
Right on. I think it would be good. I mean, especially if you have a little bit of nerves about getting in front, because a lot of people don't understand that just sitting there playing music and recording music on your own or to a screen or something like that is completely different than getting on stage and actually doing it in front of other people. Yeah. And because then you get feedback from other people, and whether it be good or bad. And if you're not ready to take the bad with the good, then it can be a little bit disheartening.
Yeah. I have no problems performing. I've been, again, like I said, I've been in bands since fourth and fifth grade. I played guitar in church groups. I've been, I'll play anywhere. I played in California. I sat and played with Paul Gilbert of Racer X, because he was
nice.
He was one of the instructors out in, at Musicians Institute. He was there all the time, and so you went into a room and, they'd have these studios set up where like you could have 4 guitar players and a teacher, and Paul Gilbert would be there. So you go in, you pass the chord, he starts playing, you play, and, so you jam with guys like that. I mean, I got to see all kinds of people out in that school and get to play. And man, we had performance every Wednesday or whatever, and you'd have to go in and they'd throw down the sheet music and you'd have to try to learn the parts and then go up and play in front of all these people who are amazing. So I don't have a problem playing. It's just one of those things where I've never saw myself as kind of just the singer guy with a guitar. And that's what I'll get up with a band, some supporting people anytime and play.
Well, yeah, that's another thing. It's being the only one there in the spotlight.
Yeah, it's all you. And when you've never sung until you were 52 years old, it's just one of those things. I don't have it. I'm just nervous about it. And I'm not great at it yet. So it's one of those things,
Yeah. And I mean, when you're with a band, if you do happen to make a mistake, there's a band to cover it up. When you're by yourself, it's a noob.
Pretty much, I think if the drummer and bass player keep that rhythm, the lead guitar player can be kind of messy all over the place. You really have no room to fail because that solid keeping it together, the rhythm section, and but yeah, you do. You just have that support, so you feel like you can drop a note or miss a whole part and still kind of hide it pretty easy in a band. And I've been doing that for years, messing up in bands for years. So.
Right on. Well, I don't want to cut you off, but I do need to go up and spend some time with my boys before bedtime. But it was very much a pleasure talking with you tonight.
Absolutely.
And you're more than welcome to come back on anytime. You just let me know.
Absolutely.
And I've really enjoyed the chat. It was really great. And
great too. So thanks. I'm glad I got to meet you face to face. And like I said, I appreciate what you do for all of us. You were one of the early ones that I probably met last July or August, right when I first started. You're one of the first people who shared one of my songs. So thrilled that I could be on with you, and thank you for that. So
it's my pleasure to be able to do that. Really, and I thank you for allowing me to do that to help you out. It's the least I can do for all the great music that I get from these people and get me through with my tough times and through life. Yeah.
Well, let's put that panel together. It would be fun to have a couple of.
Okay.
Some of these people, unique, different people together. It'd be a lot of fun.
I will work on that. That's actually an outstanding idea, and but we will work on that. Again, come back anytime, and anything you want to say to the people in the audience before we get off here tonight.
Sure. Just again, thanks for all the support from everybody. I mean, I never would have thought that I would have gotten the feedback that I have, just the positive things on my music. It just has blown me away. I expected Twitter to be filled with trolls and people saying how bad I sucked. And I had one guy who kept arguing with me about something, and it was not about my music or me sucking. It was all about the fact that I shouldn't ask people to follow me or something. And he just wouldn't stop. And finally, I just blocked him. But that was the one person in, almost a year of being on Twitter. Most everyone has been fantastic. Hey, I see Fed by Sound. He is awesome. He just said, "You're awesome." Thanks. Mm-hmm. And we talked about him. I don't know how long he's been on, but I talked about how awesome Fed by Sound was. But things like that, these guys are just what make this just be so fun. They're friendships that I never thought could happen online. So
yeah, thanks. Absolutely.
Thanks,
you're more than welcome, and I hope we keep growing and we keep making more friendships.
Absolutely.
And just everybody getting their music out. One of these days, one of these artists, like you said, they're going to break through.
They're going to break through, and we're going to say, "I knew them when we were pals on."
Yes.
I'm waiting for that one. Who's going to be the first one out there? That's going to be fun. I mean, my bet is on Sophie. I've got big, hopes for her. She's young. She's got it all ahead, and she's got the talent and ability. So,
you got that right.
I hope Mark gets it from Fed by Sound, because his stuff is amazing, and he doesn't have enough followers because he doesn't like promoting his music. But that guy freaking is great. So,
well, Fed by Sound, you need to DM me, and you need to get on the show. And
shout it out. He's good.
So. If you don't want to promote your music, I'll do it for you.
Yeah, we'll do
How about that?
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah. All right. Well, thank you again for coming on. You
Thanks
have
so
a great
much.
evening,
Totally
and
appreciate it.
we will talk to you later. All right.
All right, man. Have a good time with your son.
All right.
All right.
All right, everybody. Thank you all for joining tonight. That was Godzilla Attacks Tokyo Kamikaze Blues Band, and we will be back tomorrow night at regular time, 8:30 Central Time, with The Color of the Sun. They'll be on tomorrow night, and then we have on Saturday at 8:30 Central Time, we have Durek, who will be coming on the show, who just released some new music, so we'll get some of that played. But again, thank you all for coming out. If you haven't done it already, please hit the like button on your way out, and the subscribe. Make sure you turn those notifications on, because I've been working around the band schedules, and whenever they can do a show, I pretty much try to get them in and do a show, because I want everybody to get a chance to get some good video out there. But I really appreciate every one of you for coming out and keeping the chat going and supporting what we're doing here. And we will see you all tomorrow night. You all have a great evening.